Welcome, everybody. So excited to have you here on our Tuesday Heart to Heart Wellness and Abundance Zoom. We're just so excited to have you joining us for a really informal time when we're just going to be sharing with one another stories from our hearts. And we're just super passionate about the information that we have to offer with our products and company through LifeVantage. And with everything that's been going on in the world, because it is a little bit harder to gather in person in each other's living rooms, we're just kind of wanting to recreate that environment here on Zoom. So thank you for joining us. My name is Sjören, and I'm a registered dental hygienist. I've been married for almost 7 years this summer, which is crazy because I am turning 28. So my husband and I got married at a pretty young age, and a year into our marriage, he started dealing with some pretty serious health issues. And thankfully, in spite of all the craziness that we were dealing with, because my dad is a doctor, people who learn about awesome health stuff usually tell him about it. And one day he phoned me up and he said, "Hey, Melody, my friend Rusty from Hawaii just shared with me about this incredible health product, and I think you should hop on Zoom and hear about it because I think it would be really good for Layton." And at that point, I was open to hearing anything because we had tried everything. So even though it seemed like it would just be another thing, it turned out that it wasn't. This was a peer-reviewed, investigated, researched, and highly developed product that had over 40 years of research behind it, leading to many, many peer-reviewed studies, one of which, a study by Washington State University, says that the effects of NRF2 activation may well become one of the most significant breakthroughs in the history of preventative and therapeutic medicine. So there's a lot of research, there's a lot of details behind what we're sharing with you, and we're really just excited to piece some of the puzzles, put some of the pieces of the puzzle together with our stories and information today. And we're just delighted you're taking the time to come and learn more. So I'm super excited to introduce that physical therapist, Rusty Cottrell, who shared this information with my dad. And he is a father. He's super active in his community. He's been passionate about anti-aging since the age of 18. So he was a biohacker before the word was created, which biohacking just means taking control of your own biology. And so he's a huge inspiration to me because he has been passionate about health his whole life. And I love his story because he really dove in with a critical mind to pick this apart because he thought it was a scam. So thank you, Rusty, for being here and sharing some of your story and the science with us. We're delighted to have you.
Thanks, Melody. I always enjoy being able to share like this because who knows who it's going to bless, right? And so as at my office, just kind of minding my own business, and on a sideline, I had lost my retirement in 2009 in the market crash, but I wasn't looking for something new. I was very, very busy, having quite a few children at home. My wife and I had 6 children, having a bunch of those still at home. I was very, very busy, didn't have any extra time, so I wouldn't look at the information. My daughter, on the other hand, kept pounding me until I finally would look at it just to protect her from getting involved in a scam. I got so excited about the science that I just got turned on, and I called Melody's dad and everyone that I knew about it. But let me just talk about the science just a little bit, because what it's done for me is it's completely changed my life. I mean, I was super healthy, 80% raw food, organic only, and exercise. And so I thought, well, what it's going to do for me? It's for my wife. She's having health issues. But it really blessed my life. It continues to bless my life. I just feel younger and younger all the time. I was just working out today. I just pumped out more pull-ups than I've ever done in the recent past. I just thought, I'm not getting older, I'm getting younger. So that was exciting. I don't know if you knew this or not, but basically from you to your parents, you've had 1,000 gene mutations happen since your mother or your mother and father's generation. Since your grandparents, is 2,000 mutations in your genes since then. So we're getting as we go through the generations, we're not getting better necessarily. But what we want to do is we want to do the best we can for our genes that we know of, and this is the best that I know of so far. So remember that 1,000 mutations each generation, and maybe even more. It's just that's the basic average. You probably heard of 23andMe or any of those kind of genetic sites. I actually got my DNA tested, just kind of see where I was. And there's a lot of emphasis on genes. Well, the thing that really damages your genes, we're going to kind of go over. There's 3 basic areas of aging that I want to go over: oxidative stress or free radical damage, mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cell, they're the energy, right? And then we have sirtuins, and sirtuins are protectors for your genes. Let's go over oxidative stress for a second. How many of you had taken antioxidants? I did. And the antioxidant I was taking gave me a whopping 100,000 direct antioxidant molecules. I thought that was amazing. My wife and I thought, hey, we're doing really good. We're eating good. We're exercising. We're getting 100,000 antioxidant molecules. Well, then I found out some very disturbing news. There are 300 sextillion free radicals on average that attack your body every day. So do the math. 300 sextillion minus 100,000. It's like putting a Dixie cup of water in the ocean expecting it to change the level. It's just absolutely not going to happen. So we're actually able to activate through your genes a way to make enzymes. You have 30 trillion cells, average 30 trillion cells. We can actually activate each one of those cells to make an enzyme called SOD. That enzyme is amazing. You can get rid of 1 million free radicals every second of the day. As each second marches on, each one of your cells can get rid of 1 million free radicals per second. Now, compare that with 100,000. Doesn't even come close, right? Because you got all these 30 trillion cells doing that. So it's kind of amazing. So the NR2 messenger protein protandum, that's just one of the blessings that it does. It eliminates age-related oxidative stress. I have the oxidative stress level that a small child has every day that I take this product, which is absolutely amazing. So we're protecting ourselves against that damage. Now, you probably heard that inflammation is the root of all disease. Well, oxidative stress is the cause of inflammation. Just want to add that in there. So let's go to mitochondrial health. My wife was taking a course. She's a dietitian. She's taking a course on mitochondrial health. We found out that not all, your body doesn't have the same mitochondrial genetics or the strength of your genetics in each one of your organs. So you can inherit, like let's say in my house here, in my shop, I have a outlet that doesn't work, a couple outlets that don't work. In my house, it works great. So my computer works good. In my shop vacuum doesn't work because it's plugged into that system. Well, their bodies are the same. You can have healthy mitochondria in your heart and your kidney, but not your lungs. You can have and vice versa. And the issue is we need to really activate our genes to actually activate our cells to make more mitochondria. You can have up to almost 4,000 or more in a heart cell. Think about how important your heart is energy-wise to be pumping. Well, the mitochondria are so important. Now, if you do your homework and look up mitochondrial dysfunction and just check out all the diseases that causes, I was blown away by that. So the Mitochondrial Dysfunction Society, look that up. The other thing we want to talk about is sirtuins. Now, imagine you're cooking and you have your cookbook out there and you've got a recipe and you're trying to make this new recipe. So you're reading it and then getting the amounts and putting it all together. And as you got that book open, you're preparing it, Junior comes in and grabs the book and throws it on the floor, maybe spills something on it, and now you've got damaged cookbook recipe. Well, your sirtuins that we're actually able to create 100% activity in those in 24 hours with our nutrigenomic NAD synergizer can actually close the book between readings. It actually does this. It's amazing. It's like silencing information, for example. Let's say you have an advertisement that you hate, and you could just program your television to cut that advertisement off every time it came on or on the radio, whatever. So it's silencing information that could destroy your genes. So imagine this, you have plans for a house and you're constructing it, and all of a sudden those plans get damaged. What's the rest you can really do? You can't really finish the building. And so it's really important for the sirtuins to protect your genes with all the information for constructing everything that you are and who you are, to maintain that your whole life as long as you can. Remember, we're getting 1,000 mutations every generation, and mutations are not good. Evolutionary scientists will tell you mutations are really good. There's only one that's been of any benefit at all, and that's it. So rest of mutations are really not good for you. So I want to talk about, just briefly, real quick, probiotics, because in not all countries that we're talking to maybe today have the NAD synergizer. But the probiotic really, really is helpful. And physicians that are friends of mine say that when you take the probiotic with the NRF1 and NRF2 together, that actually it makes them more productive in your body, in a sense where you can actually assimilate them better. It's healthy for your gut, and when your gut is very, very good, it can actually absorb the things that you need. So that's really important, is the probiotic. And just want to add that, throw that in there, because not everyone gets the NAD right now. But I'll tell you what, for me, I was just telling someone the other day about how good I feel taking this Tri-Synergizer, and it just reminded me of how much better I have been. Because when we first started, we only had the NRF2 Pro Tandem, then the NRF1 added, and every time I've moved it up, you guys are very fortunate that you don't have to wait. You get to take all three at the same time. So I'm just excited for what you're going to feel and do that. So thank you for letting me share today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rusty. It's definitely always really great to hear your science mind wrap around really how significant what we have our hands on is. And I personally love it because, with my dad being mindful of natural things, supplements and healthy living, diet and exercise were all things that I grew up around. But this whole concept of nutrition for our genes and being able to influence our genes in a positive way for all these great outcomes is mind-blowingly awesome. And it's wonderful that we have the research behind it too. So I'm super excited.
I forgot, Melody. I forgot to mention glutathione.
Oh.
Glutathione is an amazing sulfurous sticky molecule that grabs onto trash in your cells. And people are taking glutathione, which I want to recommend that they don't, because when you take glutathione, number one, your stomach will break it down. Then there's another option of getting an IV glutathione. Now, it's like going outside and just shooting a shotgun, hoping it hits the target, because they're just putting it in your bloodstream, hoping it gets to where you want it. We actually are able to, through NRF2 activation per tandem, there's 5 genes that are coded for making glutathione. We turn on those 5 genes, we can actually increase production by 300% of glutathione. So when I add that in, I just forgot that. And that's so important. In fact, to be honest, that's the thing that got me hooked the first time. When I heard that this could make glutathione, I was interested in looking at the information. That's what hooked me. So I just want to add that.
Absolutely. Because we're not taking supplements, we're activating our genes to make what our body needs. So it's powerful stuff. And thank you for adding that, because I know the glutathione is a big thing for a lot of people, as more and more research is showing that it's an issue to have depleted glutathione, and people who have depleted glutathione usually have a lot of other issues. So getting that glutathione up is huge. Anyways, I'm super excited about our next speaker, Rebeca Neuman, or Beck. She is from Australia and is a new mama here in the US. She moved here to marry her husband, or after she married her husband. And she's also a physical therapist. So we get to hear from 2 physical therapists today. And it's just really awesome to see how a lot of people in the medical field are attracted to this because of the science. And it's also awesome to work with mamas and people who are wanting to have an option to stay home. So Beck, super grateful to have you here and sharing your story with us today. Thank you so much.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Okay, all good. So it's awesome to be here today. Thanks for sharing, Rusty. I love hearing you talk about the science, spot on. And yeah, I'm just excited to share a little bit about my story today, a little bit about my personal health journey, as well as my experience with the business. I've been really blessed to hear other people's stories on the Heart to Heart presentations. So hopefully I can bless someone today with what I have to share. So like Mel said, my background is in physical therapy, in pediatrics. I was actually born in Europe, raised in Australia, but I'm now living in the United States. So unfortunately, when I came across to America, my specialty didn't sort of translate with me, and I wasn't able to work as a physical therapist. So about a year or so ago, I had sort of had two dilemmas I was focusing on. You know, I wanted to get healthier, and I also was looking for a way to, I guess, start a new career, make some income, get some work. And I was really surprised to find the answers to both my problems with LiveVantage. So today I'm just sharing a bit about a little snippet of my hand, what I found with the business. So I guess in terms of you could say I was one of those people that, well, I was never really sick, but I was never really healthy either, if that makes sense. I was sort of just in between. I didn't feel great, but that was kind of the norm for me, and I didn't know what to do to feel better. My introduction to health when I was younger basically was just, you know, if you feel bad, go and get some over-the-counter drugs, and then you'll feel a bit better, and then next time you feel bad, you just repeat the process. I never really thought about what caused diseases, how to get to the root of the problem, and how to enhance my health. So I had all these annoying little symptoms that were around for a long time. I had things like gut issues. I was sleeping really poorly, and I basically didn't have iron, which is, it's kind of important to have iron in your system. Even when I was young, I remember trying every iron supplement I could, and it didn't help. I tried injections, it didn't help. I even tried the mother of all treatments. I had iron put straight into my veins intravenously, and within a few months it was gone. My body just didn't know what to do with it. So like I said, I was just getting by. And, you know, as you get a bit older and a bit wiser, you start sort of looking at your health more. And my husband and I got pretty proactive in the last few years. You know, we were exercising, we were getting outside and getting sunshine, clean water. We were both eating a plant-based diet. And it just wasn't enough. I was still struggling with iron and every other little problem I had. My husband has a small construction business, and he's really active, and, you know, he'd always complain about stiffness in his hands and aches and pains, and we just weren't doing enough, and we didn't understand what was missing. The other thing is we were kind of wanting to start a family, and unfortunately we weren't able to fall pregnant. And at that point in time, I remember thinking, okay, I really don't want to try IVF. I can't afford it. It sounds so complicated. So what do I do? And I was praying about it, and I kind of came across these products at that time. And like Rusty, I remember looking at the signs and getting excited, but I just thought, you know, this is too good to be true. Even though I was looking for a solution, I was like, this can't be it. I'm putting it in the too good to be true basket and moving on. But I had a lot of people in my area that kept telling me all these amazing stories and testimonies. And they were like, look what it's doing for me. And I heard it so many times that eventually I was like, well, I don't think everyone's having a placebo effect. Like, there must be something to this. And what if I'm just missing out on something good? So fear of missing out won the better of me. But I was still a bit skeptical. So I tried it on my husband first. Poor guy, he was my guinea pig. And I gave him the NRF2 and NRF1 and a few of the other products. And really quickly, he was like telling me how his aches were going away. His hands weren't so stiff. He was able to sleep better. I gave it to my mum, and she'd call me all excited saying, oh, I just ate this fruit again. I haven't eaten it in ages. And guess what? I'm not having the same gut issues I used to have. I even had a family member have some amazing kind of results with her bladder issues, and she was able to avoid surgery because her body just started working better. So I heard enough stories that I was finally convinced, and obviously I worked with a health professional because I was trying to fall pregnant. I wanted to make sure that would be okay, and I started on NRF2 and the probiotics. And like Rusty said, when you reduce your oxidative stress, it's amazing what your body can do. And I think I had a lot of stress in my body. I really detoxed and reduced my inflammation. And, within 8 weeks, we found out we were pregnant, which was a real blessing. I guess my body just got happy and healthy, and we were able to conceive. And we had a great pregnancy. But, like I said in the beginning, the iron thing came back to haunt me. And I was terrified because I was like, okay, I've studied physiology at school. I know what happens when a woman's pregnant. And with the birth and breastfeeding, and I was like, this little baby's going to take every good thing from me. And if I don't have iron to begin with, then, what am I going to do? I'm in trouble. So I remember every time they were doing the tests for iron, I'd get super nervous. And the first one, I thought, my results are going to be in the negative if that's possible. Because there's just not going to be any there. And I remember the doctor just saying, yeah, your iron's good. And she just moved on. And I was like, what do you mean my iron's good? Like, is it barely hanging on good or good? She's like, no, it's great. No problems. And then after the birth, it was like, no, your iron's doing well. A little bit, it dropped slightly, obviously, but it came right back up. It's been such a blessing because at a time when you expect a woman to struggle the most with deficiencies, especially with iron, I was thriving. And I'd never had iron before that. And all I'd introduced was the NRF2. So I was super blessed. I had so many other benefits that I can't even begin to mention. Sleep in particular was huge for us. And being 9 months pregnant and huge and uncomfortable, I was still getting the best sleep of my life, which is crazy. We had a newborn, and me and my husband, we're still like, when we fall asleep, we're still getting the deepest, best sleep of our life with a little baby in the bassinet next to us. It was just incredible. And this is where it sounds a bit too good to be true, but it's not some magic cure that will treat every disease under the sun. But what it does is it fine-tunes your body like a piano, and it just helps you function optimally like your body was designed to. So we've been really blessed. I took the NRF2 throughout my whole pregnancy, and I'm still on it, and I'm hoping to introduce NRF1 soon. So just excited to see how things will continue to improve for me. What else was I going to mention? I guess in terms of the business, we've loved the business. I jumped into it when I started taking the products. I didn't know what I was doing. But it's been this great little business that has just kind of followed us wherever we've gone. It's just molded to our lives perfectly. We were pregnant for the first time. We had a death in the family. We had a newborn baby. We were all over the place. And this business came on the ride with us. When I was sick and I couldn't do anything, it just sat there, and it would still give me a little check each month, which was great. When I had time to invest, everything I put in, I got back from it, and it started growing. So we just love the flexibility. My husband's joined me, so we grow our business as a family now, which is super fun. And we're just excited to see where it goes. It's Robert Kiyosaki. If you've never read some of his business of the 21st century, we were just blown away about a new way of doing income. And I'd never heard of anything like that when I was, physical therapist working really hard in clinic every day. So it's been a real, personal growth season, but we've loved it. So the business is great, but the products are the ones that are fantastic. And I really hope if you're listening today that you won't just put it in the too good to be true basket like I did. I've seen really sick elderly people get improvement in their health, and I've seen average people in the middle like me get improvements one after the other. And we've also got Olympic athletes that are taking these products, and they're like the epitome of health, right? Because you think they've peaked. But as a physical therapist, I'm really shocked to see that they still get improvements in their performance and recovery time. So, if you're alive and breathing, you've got oxidative stress and you will benefit from reducing it. So that's sort of, I think my time's up. That's all I'm going to share today. But if you're like I was a while back and you're wanting to get healthier, or you're wanting to make a little bit extra cash on the side, because we just live in such crazy, uncertain times, then I just encourage you to keep chatting to the person who connected you with the presentation today, and just go on your own journey and see where it'll end up taking you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beck. I love your story, and I think it's super awesome for both you and Rusty to be sharing on this heart-to-heart Zoom side by side, because you both were critical skeptics. And I think that that's really awesome to hear how when you really gave it the fair chance to really see the science and understand everything. Obviously here we're just doing a brief overview, but there's so much more information here, and we want to help you get those questions answered. I remember Beck having so many questions for so many people, and that's just part of the process because it's so new and it's so exciting. My dad, as a physician, did not know what Protandim was. He did not know what nerve 2 activation was, because just like penicillin was a breakthrough that took time for people to accept, nerve 2 activation is a breakthrough that takes time for people to accept and learn about and understand that there's research behind this. So I love your story, and thank you for sharing it in such a beautiful way. I love how you segued into everything so beautifully. And I want to mention, before introducing our final speaker, that we really have such a special gift with our products. And these products were available on the shelves of stores, but because they were such a progressive breakthrough in what they did for the body and how they worked, people weren't buying them because they didn't understand what nerve 2 activation was 15 years ago. And so 10 years ago, we moved our products off the shelves of stores and we aligned them with a more progressive distribution model, which is where people are sharing with people. People are sharing the science, people are sharing the products, people are sharing their stories. And that is the beautiful industry of network marketing. So we're a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, and just like our science is transparent, our company is transparent too. And so I just love that as we share with others, our impact is so much greater than what this would have been otherwise. So super excited to have Julie Mai sharing. She is a mom entrepreneur. Like, how do I merge those two words together? But she has 4 kids, 2 before starting this business and then 2 after. She's also a jewelry designer, lives on the island of Kauai, Hawaii. And she's going to share, just to wrap things up for us here today, but Hawaii is a very expensive place to live. And I'm just so grateful for the people like Julie and Rusty who saw the vision for this as a business and helping people with these products so that it's been able to create a ripple effect that's leading to us learning about this today and you learning about it today. So thank you, Julie, for being here and sharing more with us today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. Rebecca was awesome. I don't know if it's her accent, but I could listen to her all day long. She was this very calm, and I just loved hearing her story because I think a lot of us can relate to, it's just another thing that people are saying it does X, Y, and Z. And you're like, oh man, another company or another product that says it's going to save the world or cure this or change my life. So I really related to that. And I love just little things that she said. And yes, Robert Kiyosaki, it's probably backwards for you guys, but I have his book right here, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I can't say enough good things about him and how much he's taught me in the world of business and how he really grasps this idea of networking like we are doing today by sharing this with you. So like Melody was saying, my name is Julie Mai. I come from the beautiful little island of Kauai, way out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. This was shared with me about 7 years ago. I was a really busy mom of two. I was juggling a couple different, one home-based business, my jewelry design business, and I was also a waitress at night. My husband was a full-time Mason, and we were kind of just running in that hamster wheel every day, just trying to get ahead, trying to raise our babies the way that we wanted to raise them, but really also realizing that if we didn't make a change, then we were going to wake up in like 5-10 years and realize that we missed the most precious times with them. And I knew that because that's really what my mom did. My mom worked so hard to support her family and put food on the table and create this American dream, if you will. But unfortunately, you just really, when you have your own business, a lot of times become a slave to your business. And that's truly what was happening to me. So I was on my knees praying for something different. I had no idea what that was going to look like or how that was going to come into my life. Definitely didn't think it would come in the form of this, but a friend of mine called, just like you were invited to this call. And she said, I want you to look at this product that's changing my husband's life. He is looking at a really scary surgery, and this is the only thing that's worked. And we are just so excited. And we want to share with our friends and family and people we love. And of course, my red flags went up and the skepticism went up. But because I valued our friendship, I knew what she had done in her life. I said, there's no hurt or fail for me just to go and look at the information. And like what you've heard already from the speakers on the call tonight, I was blown away by the science, by the third-party validation. Every little thing kind of added up. And yeah, it did seem a little too good to be true, like Rebecca said, but because it wasn't just the company or it wasn't just my friends saying these things to me, that I could actually go online and pull up studies like this. This is an abstract study from the Washington State University that says NERV2 may well become the most extraordinary breakthrough in preventative medicine in the history of preventative medicine. To me, that was like, oh my gosh, the most extraordinary breakthrough in preventative medicine. Like, really? Like, that definitely, spoke to me as something that I wanted to look at. So I started taking it like everyone else has shared, and just little things started happening in my own health, slept better, more energy, really felt a lot happier. And then I gave it to people that I cared about. One person in particular is my mom, who was struggling in her health. And I really saw a progression in just a couple months of her going from a dark, hard place, in her mid 60s to becoming just this full of life grandma that wanted to help with her grandbabies, that wanted to be more a part of people's lives and work out. And just this transformation of what happened to her is really what opened my eyes to the bigger picture of how not everybody's going to go out and eat organic and get a gym membership and change their life. But most people who are struggling with their health, like Rebecca shared, will go and then will get a pill and they'll take a pill. And then I was like, holy moly, I got to share this with people. And that's when I really got excited and said, I'm going to go out there and this thing. And also I learned about leveraged income. Like Becca kind of said earlier, is Robert Kiyosaki and some of my earlier mentors when I got started with this said, there's linear income where you trade your time for dollars. And then there's leveraged income where you can leverage your time and create a wheel, this engine, if you will, with other people. So basically, instead of you're the only one building your company or your business, you have a group of people that turns into hundreds into thousands of people that all have the same goal. And that's truly what leverage is all about. And I don't know, Melody, can I share a screen? Is that possible? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share a screen with you guys real quick. I know we're going to wrap this call up real quick, but I'm really excited to share a new little picture that I created. Sorry, I should have asked you about that earlier. That just kind of shows the difference between linear and leveraged income so that you can get a visual for what that looks like. And that is something that really helped me to see the bigger picture of what was possible. And let's see, give me 1 second. It might not be possible. And if that's not okay, it's no, can't do it.
Letting.
Okay, no problem. We'll do it next week. But anyway, basically what I wanted to just share on the visual is it shows me in a little circle by myself on a solo mission of just building that business for the next 40 to 50 years of my life, and hoping to create that freedom for my family, to hoping to create more, financial stability for my family, but really understanding that that is a long time, 40 to 50 years, to then hopefully retire and do the things that we really want to do. But with leveraged income, it's another wheel on the picture that shows more people in the wheel that are all fighting and growing and wanting to do the same thing, and which then gives you the time freedom and the choices to be at home with your family. And that's what happened for me. Is I built this for about three and a half years. I got pregnant and I was able to step out of that wheel, have my baby. I wasn't forced to go back to work. No one was going to take my check away. Life happens to us all, which is happening, I think, in the greater world right now with this pandemic. And people are more, I think, open to different ways to make money, because a lot of people got their incomes ripped away from them. And a lot of people, some people are going back to work, but some people are uncertain and unsure if they even have a job to go back to. And not only this pandemic that we're dealing with, but you guys, technology and where the world is going, things are changing and shifting. And it's a crazy statistic. It's like 70% of graduates graduate and they don't even get a job in their field because of technology and the way how fast the world is changing. So when I started to really educate myself about the possibility of what we had our hands on with this incredible hands down breakthrough products, as well as the company to back it and the business that went alongside it, it was like the perfect storm. So I just love to share my story and let you know that there are two sides to this. There's the products that are for the entire world. The business may or may not be for you, and that's totally okay. But as you can tell, a lot of us are passionate of it because of how much it's helped our world and our lives, and just to really give us that time back. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to you, Melody. Thank you for letting me share on the call today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Julie. And just to tie it up, I just want to finish out with sharing a little bit of the rest of my story, because I love what everyone shared, and I just really feel impressed to share that now. So after learning this information and choosing to say yes, because my husband and I had been on our hands and knees praying for answers, when we saw really how this could be so impactful, because oxidative stress is literally linked to everything, I felt like there was a moral obligation to share with other people. And at that time, I was on a track to be a dental hygienist for the next who knows how long. But that was definitely my career goal. I like to be ambitious and motivated career-wise, and it seemed like a really good fit for me. But in wanting to just kind of add this on as something I would do on the side, I had no idea how big of a blessing it would be later. For example, just like Beck, when my husband and I moved to Washington, my license did not transfer to a new state. And so at that point, I was able to make the decision to have LifeVantage be my main focus. And with everything that's been going on with the coronavirus, most of my friends who are dental hygienists are out of work and waiting on unemployment. And I just love how Julie shared that illustration of the wheel where you're doing things by yourself and the wheel where you're working with a team, because we just have such an incredible team of people who have the biggest hearts for helping other people and sharing this gift. And it's just really beautiful to be part of that. And, we may be in the middle of a pandemic, but I was just hearing a friend in our business sharing yesterday how she started this business in 2008 and 9 when she was at a breaking point of both her and her husband being laid off from their jobs. So sometimes it doesn't always feel like the perfect time to start something new, but the reality is you never know when that next crisis is going to hit. So sometimes digging that well before you're thirsty, because we don't know what's going to happen next, is really an important thing to do, because things can sometimes be great, but you don't know what's coming down the road. And so I know I'm a natural sharer. When something good is in my life, I want to bless other people with that information. And so We definitely want everyone to benefit from the products like you've heard. So definitely get connected with more info on that side. But then if you're a natural sharer, or if you're at a point where you're looking for something to change financially, we'd love to get you more information on our company and the business and joining the team. So thank you for your time and for joining with us today, and just get back to the person who invited you for more info. And thank you everyone for sharing. It was really awesome to hear your stories. Bye everybody.